Hey, welcome to Duane's World. It's me, Duane, the Boozin blogger, coming at you for Wednesday, May 4th. That's right, May the 4th be with you for all our nerd friends out there watching. Today is podcast day. That's right, so it's going to be a little bit longer than 5 minutes. Maybe 20, half an hour. Who knows? We could go on and on and on forever. There's lots of things going on in the world. As you can tell, there's a little bit of a different format today because I just honestly have been feeling a little tired, so I decided, I'm going to scale back shit and just keep it simple. That's what we're going to do. So we're keeping it simple today, folks. As always, please subscribe to my channel. We can use more subscribers, folks. 402, and it's been stuck there for weeks. Come on, let's get those numbers up. It's real easy. You hit subscribe, you share to your family and friends, even like your priest and whatever. Yeah, just share it to everybody. And every once in a while, hit a like button. It's that simple, folks. Remember, you can also get my podcast on Spotify, Apple, and pretty much anywhere else you get your podcast from. So, lots of news today. Well, actually, I'm only going to probably talk on a couple. Big news from last night was that Dave Chappelle was doing a stand-up set at the Hollywood Bowl for Netflix special, I think, or a Netflix endorsed show. And some dude near the end got up, ran after him, tackled him. Didn't do well for the guy because, he kind of got the shit kicked out of him afterwards, as he should have. I find it funny that these people are doing this now to, like, smaller comics. Why aren't they doing this to Joe Rogan? Or why aren't they doing this to Big J. Okerton? Or, some big comic who's just going to stand there and punch you in the face and get it over with. One of the funniest things, though, from this happened last night was at the end of it, Chris Rock come running out and he goes, "Was that Will Smith?" And that was funny. That was just hilarious. But yeah, I don't know what gives people the right or thought that they can now go and attack comedians. I really, really don't. I know that if I was on stage and somebody pulled that shit, I'd kick them right in the face. Or, and I'm not even a violent person, but I would not take that shit at all. But yeah, so it's pretty bad when comics can't just go up on stage and do their thing and people just sit down and laugh, because that's what we're there for, right? People are there to go to comedy shows. They're just going to, have a good time, have some drinks, have maybe a meal, and laugh. And come on, you're watching Dave Chappelle and you're going to attack Dave Chappelle? Sure, he's controversial. But you know what? Most comics should be. Well, actually, I think all comics should be a little bit controversial, because that's another thing that's happening in comedy these days. I've noticed is that people are playing so safe that the comedy's not as good as it used to be, but there's still, there's hope, right? We still got Tom Segura, we still got Bert Kreischer, we still got Bill Burr and Chappelle, and, so these guys are still out there doing what should be done. Then you get all the other comics who are, they're taming their acts down because they don't want the fallout or to get canceled. I heard the funniest thing. It was brought up. I think I was watching Steve-O's podcast, and the talk got to cancel culture, and I think the comic said, it's like, "Are you worried about being canceled?" And he says, "Nope, because I won't cancel myself. I will not stop touring. As long as there's a few people that are going to watch me tour, I'm not giving up." And I think that's what all these comics should do. I think they should just, if somebody tries to cancel them, they should give them a big fuck you and just continue to do their shit. And I thought when he said that was absolutely brilliant, because it's true. If you don't give in to the cancel culture assholes, then you can't get canceled, right? Well, really, wish Louis C.K. had done that. Because, he took 2 years off after his incidents, and he could have still been traveling. He could have still been doing comedy. People would have still paid to see him, and it proved it when he came back. He played in when he came back, he did a pop-up spot at the Comedy Cellar in New York City, and the people just loved it because there he was. Now some people didn't because they didn't want to help him at all, but so they didn't know that he was going to be there. So that was kind of maybe the wrong way to approach it. But he did. He popped up the Comedy Cellar, and 90% of the people laughed their heads off and thought it was hilarious. So there's always going to be room for you to sell your stuff. And that's the greatest thing about the internet now is that we have the internet, you got YouTube, you got all these other places where you can put your stuff on display for you, and you don't have to worry really about live performances. Sure, talking to a camera kind of sucks sometimes. It's nice to get a little bit of back and forth and crowd response. That's why we go up and we do comedy, folks. It's we're there for the response, the reactions, whether it be a or a woo or a a clap or a stop or a standing ovation, whatever it is. We do that just to elicit a response. And I got told once, one of my jokes that I did, wasn't good because it wasn't a laugh, and it's like, well, dude, I got a response, and that's what we're looking for, right? We want a response, and I don't care what the response is, as long as it's a response to something you said. There is nothing worse when you're doing stand-up than crickets. Nothing. I've had a couple of those shows, and yeah, they're intimidating, but I mean, you get through them. You just do your stuff and get the fuck off the stage, and then drink your face off. But yeah. This whole cancel culture bullshit. I know I talked about this with Jenny once, and it's just, if you don't let yourself get canceled, you won't get canceled. Louis would have had people showing up at all his shows if he hadn't have killed his tour, and Chappelle proved it when he made the trans jokes that everybody apparently got offended over. Not me, I could care less about the jokes. They were jokes. Everybody knew they were jokes. And people tried to cancel Chappelle, and Chappelle just kept on going, and he doubled down, and that's what everybody's got to do. But this whole getting up on stage and roughing up a comedian, that's just not cool. Something's got to be done about that, because somebody's going to get hurt, whether it's the comedian or the asshole that's coming up. You got to remember, the comedian has a mic stand and he can use it. And if you get whacked upside the head with a mic stand, they hurt. I know. I know what it'll feel like. And it's, why? Why would you do that? Why would you, for one, get yourself charged with assault, and for another, just, I don't know. I can't see why somebody would actually run up on stage and attack a performer, especially near the end of the show. So I imagine Dave went through all his jokes that people just don't really, some people find offensive, but I just don't get it. What gives you the right to run up on stage? Like I said, somebody would run up on stage on me and I'd pop them right in the mouth. It'd be that quick. I wouldn't put up with that crap at all. And I wouldn't wait for security to come and protect me either, because, well, for one, in comedy clubs, there's not a lot of security anyways, but I just wouldn't wait for this shit. And Chappelle, he's just a different dude, I guess. but he played it off like every good comedian should. He made a joke, and you know, and then like I said, Chris Rock came out, and so did Jamie Foxx, and that's cool when you got friends that'll come and back you up too, help you out some. But this shit should not happen ever, ever, ever. Do never go onto a stage when a comic's up there. Shit, don't do it when shouldn't be doing it when bands are up there either. Like, I mean, you're just looking to get hurt. Not to mention, like, I mean, you can piss the crowd off and it could go right the other way, and the crowd drag you outside and punch the shit out of you too. You never know, right? I don't I don't get why you would do this. If you're gonna heckle, do it the old-fashioned way. Sit in your seat and heckle. Uh, that's about as far as you should ever take it. And like, I mean, I've seen it live. I've seen, I watched a comic try to deal with a drunk guy, and he was really, really good with him, but he still, picked on a very little bit. And he was a big, big guy in a small comic, and the guy waited outside for him after the show, but I mean, the guy had another set to do, so he never came outside. But I see shit like that, and I just wonder why. Like, it's comedy. It's just, I know some people don't do alcohol easy, or sorry, I know some people don't do alcohol well, and they do become assholes, and that's too bad too, because you know what, it fucks up a good comedy show, and comedy's already getting worse. Like, I mean, they're giving comedy specials to people that really shouldn't have a comedy special. Comedy's gone way downhill in the last few years because of this woke culture. Those arseholes that I wish they'd just go back sucking on their mommy's tit. Because of the whole woke thing, everybody's careful. Therefore, the comedy's not quite as funny. But like I said, there are still a few guys out there that are throwing the shit and don't give a fuck. And that's the way comics should be. You shouldn't give a fuck when you're a comic. You should get up there, you get on stage, and you say what's on your mind. And if people don't like it, they can leave. That's the cool thing too about these things. If you don't like them, you can always get up and leave. And I've said that I don't know how many times before on my blog, that if you just don't like it, turn the channel, get up and leave. Do something fucking besides be an asshole, What's my motto? Don't be a fucking asshole. Well, yeah, don't be a fucking asshole. If you don't like something, get off your ass, get the fuck out the door. Nobody's paying you to stay there, Complain to the comedy club the next day, and who knows, maybe they'll even give you your money back. But it's never cool to walk on stage, and it's not cool to heckle either. It happens, and comics have a way they do their sets. Okay, they set everything up before you go. Like, some of it seems pretty magical, but they set up how they're going to say it, how they're going to get into it and stuff, and you throw the rhythm off, and that fucks with them. So being a heckler, you're also being a fucking asshole as well. I know I was terrified if somebody spoke up and talked to me while I was on stage. And so I went and I did a show where that's specifically what they did. They heckled the shit out of you from start to finish. And it made me realize that, okay, I can do this. I can handle somebody talking back to me and stuff. And I guess that's, for me, that was the biggest obstacle. Some people will say it was my comedy. They didn't like it or whatever. But a lot of people like my comedy. I've got, I don't know, like I said, to each is their own. But, don't be a heckler. Hecklers are fucking assholes. They are too. And they're just as bad as the assholes that go up on stage and, try to attack a comedian. There's no need for that bullshit. Like, I mean, if Bon Jovi was on stage and they didn't play your song that you wanted to hear, are you going to run up there and punch Bon Jovi? Not likely. So what makes you think it's okay to go punch a comedian? I mean, I've been to a pile of concerts and I've heard them say some pretty deranged shit, and I've never seen somebody go up on stage to confront them about it. I've seen them run on stage to do a stage dive and stuff, but never to confront them. And now this thing with comedy, like, I mean, twice in 3 months. I know it's only twice in 3 months, but that could add, and it could get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't get it. I just don't. Why? Why? It's pretty stupid. Then again, the world's fucked, right? The world is just a fucked up place. All right, from one fucked up topic to a fucking even more fucked up topic, folks. What the hell is going on in the world? Like, the world has lost its fucking mind. We got people beating on comedians, and now the U.S. Supreme Court is leaking documents, or somebody leaked the documents saying that they're going to cancel Roe versus Wade. Yep, that's it. Roe versus Wade, the abortion bill that passed in 1973 in the U.S., and that's what gave women finally their rights to have a safe abortion, gave them a right to decide on their body, and then it gets leaked that it's 6-3 or something like that. I can't remember what the total was, but it would have been overturned, and that's despicable. Absolutely despicable. And women should always have a safe way to have an abortion. This is going to drive women underground, have it done illegally and stuff. The Supreme Court thinks that the state should have it, be able to go by state. The state should be able to make the decision on an abortion law or not, and I think that's utter bullshit as well. The funny thing is that I say that a lot, don't I? Thing about it is that it's a bunch of guys making the decision for women, and that shouldn't be the fucking case. Like, what right does a guy have over a woman's body? That's just bullshit, man. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. What if the government said that men had to be fixed? Because, you can go back and reverse the vasectomy, right? It can be reversed and it can work. So what if the government said that men had to go get a vasectomy and they had to have it in check until they're 24, maybe? 25, whatever. 21. Okay, we'll go with 21. Legal drinking age in the States and stuff. What if that was to happen? What if they started making laws on men's bodies? That shit would hit the fucking fan. Now, what's the difference between men and women? Well, besides the obvious body parts, but if it was the government deciding on what men had to do, or men had to do something, shit would hit the fucking fan, and it would hit it big time. Because there's no way men would let the government dictate on what we can do, right? So why is it okay to do that for women? It's a women's body, right? They should know. Texas went with that stupid abortion law where they had, even the tattletales could get 10 grand for turning somebody in for helping a woman perpetuate an abortion. And it's like, what the fuck is going on in people's minds? Like, I hate taking this to a class system, but it is. It's class. Here's typical classism, because if this goes through in states, in all the blue states, they are red states, blue states, I don't fucking know, the Republican states. If this goes through, there's going to be half the states in the U.S. you won't be able to get an abortion in. And that makes no sense whatsoever. So now, because this is going to affect the classes, right? People of low to middle class are going to not be able to afford to go to Florida or to California or to New York or wherever to get an abortion. So there's going to be a whole lot of unwanted pregnancies for the poor. And that's you're punishing the poor again. Every law, it seems, that comes out is punishing the poor, and it's bullshit. Um, like I mean, and it's not just punishing them that they can't fly to a different state or whatever. They don't have the money to do that shit. It's just then some of them are going to go and they're going to do it like they used to in the 70s, 60s and 70s before Roe v. Wade, where they're going to get back, what do they call it, backyard abortions or whatever. And that's not going to be safe for them. So you're going to have a whole bunch of people dying based on this. And what pisses me off is that the government shouldn't have anything to do with our physical, like our reproductive rights. They absolutely shouldn't. Like I said, if you went and told a guy that he had to have vasectomy and then he can have it reversed when he hits 21 or whatever, people would lose their fucking shit. And women and men, well, there's men too, like me, and I'm a man, and I'm thinking this is fucking utter shit too. They're not taking into consideration of, women who are raped or women who have, incest or other things, or where a child is going to come out crippled or, deficient in any way and stuff. Like, they're not taking any of that shit into consideration. And that's a big deal. Like, I mean, homelessness is at a fucking all-time high right now, and the government's not doing anything to help it. Now, if this happens in the States, they're figuring the tally should be out by the end of June, because that's when the Supreme Court is going back into whatever the fuck summer vacation, I guess that's what you call it. But so they're figuring this is going to happen. Now, people have come out against it. See, I know you're going to probably hate me for what I'm about to say, but this is Trump's fault. Because Trump put in a Supreme Court Justice, Mr. Kavanaugh, and when he shouldn't have been able to, because if you follow American politics at all, Obama had a chance to put somebody in, but they said, no, it's too close to the end of your term, you can't do this. But Trump did the same thing, right? Well, they do this, it's politics are fucking stupid. But anyways, yeah, so that happened, and then Trump got to put Kavanaugh in to replace Ginsburg, and I think it was to replace Ginsburg, I don't know. But anyways, it weighed, it added to the weight of the Republican side. So now the Republicans, because they knew they were coming after Roe versus Wade, they've been doing it for years, and it again, it's against God's interest. Abortion is blasphemy and it's against God's will or whatever. Yet, how about you take your God and shove him up your fucking arse? You know what? If God was such a great deal, why are so many people homeless? Why are so many people dying of whatever they're dying of? Why do we have wars and everything else? Your God's not protecting you, so don't go there. And why is it that it's always a God fight, right? So you can't have abortions, you can't be a queer, God's against all that, yet in the end, isn't God supposed to be all empowering and all encompassing and just love everybody? So I don't get it, how you throw your love and hate, how there's so much hate involved. I mean, take the abortion law wouldn't even be a thing if they were talking the fucking Second Amendment. The right to bear arms wouldn't even be a thing. There's nobody taking your guns. And they've tried. And it's easier to stop a woman from having an abortion than it is to, buying an M16. Everything is so fucked up in the world, don't you think? Like, I mean, really, the world is one fucked up place. And yeah, I've sworn a little bit more in this one, but these are a couple of things. These two topics have been a couple of things that really, really get my goat, and I am passionate about, because I don't think a man in any regard should have a say for what a woman does. Like, I'm going to get fucking hammered for this comment, but is that not similar to slavery? Like, where white people had to save black people, now we've got men in charge of the women. Like, why not just go back to the 40s or the 30s or wherever and take away all their fucking rights? Because that's what you're trying to do here. Women are not second-class citizens. Women are equal to men in every area. Okay, with the exception of physical strength for the most part. But, I mean, come on. We got to give into that one. But other than that, like, women are just as smart, as talented, work just as hard. Fuck, sometimes hard, mostly harder and stuff. And men get to say what happens to them. This decision in the Supreme Court is going to take the world back 50 years. Yeah. And not to mention, what's going to happen is that, what if that affects Canada? Like, I mean, do we want that shit happening here? Right now, women can get abortions safely and freely, and I think it's covered under OHIP. I don't know. But it could come to Canada, and that would fuck everything else up too. What I don't get is, another part I don't get of this whole goddamn mess is that it's been on the books for 50 years. Why don't you just get over it? Like, why? Why not just get over it? It's not something that, it's not like something that just happened a couple of years ago. This is like 50 years old, and you can't get over it. You want to overturn something from 50 years. What's next? You going to make it so women can't have their own MasterCards or whatever? Or you're going to take their right to vote away? Like, come on, fuck. Come on, men, we can do better. We should all be standing beside women, and this just affects everybody. I get it. I get, like, some of these arseholes, like, their belief in God is fucking, it makes them delusional. It does. It just absolutely makes them delusional. And I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Why in the fuck does your God think it's so bad to end a pregnancy when it could be so much worse? The person can't afford a child. So they're going to go in and they're going to get, automatically in the States, they're going to get bombarded with huge fucking bills. So this kid's starting off in the negative when it comes to money. And you're just killing people. Like, you're making homelessness happen. What about unwanted children? Like, I mean, that happens too, right? Like, I mean, a woman gets raped, or a woman gets pregnant because of incest. Do you think that woman wants that kid around to remind her of the trauma that had happened? Like, no. I mean, some might, but I mean, normal ones wouldn't. Like, You want to have these women reliving their trauma every time they look down on their child. I know that the parent's sin shouldn't come upon the children, but give me a fucking break right now. Just give me a fucking break. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. How we, as society, can allow something like this to happen. Now the government saying the government is saying that because they're elected to make these decisions for the people, it is the people's will. Over 60 and 70% of people don't want Roe versus Wade touched. The government is doing this because the government wants to. It's a big power play, always has been. The Republicans have been trying to strike this down forever because they're wackadoos. Well, you know they're wackadoos. They had Trump fucking running this shit show. But yeah, like I said, it goes back to if somebody told a man that, something to do with their body, shit would hit the fan. Or could you imagine every man has to be circumcised, or every man can't be circumcised, or something? Fuck the shit that would happen. I mean, it'd be, the religion argument would come out again. But you will not tell a man what they can do to their body. So why in the hell is it okay to tell a woman? Leave the women alone. They've already had enough fucking garbage thrown at them over the years. Women have always been treated as second-class citizens, and they're not. They're I have more respect for women and single moms especially than I do anybody else, because they are the toughest and strongest of everything. And now you want to make it so that there's more single moms, because that happens, right? If you force an abortion, or if you say you can't have an abortion, the men are going to fuck off. A lot of them are. Some of them are going to stay even though they're not wanted, but some of them will stay just because that's their beliefs system, and they're genuinely good people. Yeah, I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. What happens? Single mom, man runs away, single mom, and then she's going to end up living in her car or something, because the government's not going to look after them. They're only worried about following the Lord's work or whatever the fuck they're doing, because it makes no sense to me. Just does not make any fucking sense to me. We're going to overpopulate with single women with kids, and you're going to ruin women's lives by not being able to do the responsible thing and have an abortion if they want. It's a no-brainer. Leave Roe versus Wade the fuck alone and make Texas fucking accountable too. Another thing is that they're the cost, just the cost of everything. And some of these girls that get pregnant by accident, it's an act. They don't go out there. A lot of them don't. Most of them, I'm going to say, don't go out there and want to get pregnant. And the cost of the birth, the cost of raising a child, especially in the States, you're not gonna be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. If you're lower class, low income family, you're never gonna get yourself out of that and stuff. And the government's just not thinking about that. They're not protecting the people that need to be protected. Yet you can buy an assault rifle and kill people, and that's okay, but you can't protect women from being poor. It's absolutely mind-boggling, folks, how this can even be a thing in 2020, 2, yeah. It's mind-boggling how this can even be a thing. With all the stuff that goes on, like, I mean, all the woke movement and the Black Lives Matter and the all the other groups and stuff, and the U.S. is gonna sit back and allow this to happen. I hate rioting. I do, because I think too many people do it out of spite and think it's just cool to go break shit. But you know what? If you're gonna riot for something, this would be something to riot for. Women deserve the same rights as men, and I've said it a few times today that there's no fucking way in hell that a man would have his reproductive rights or any rights to do with their body would not be questioned. It's that simple, folks. It really is that simple. And we just got to leave it alone. Leave the Lord out of politics. You know, church and state, church and state, church and state. Fuck all y'all people who think that the Lord is almighty and all that other bullshit. No. Just leave women alone and let them decide. It's a crapshoot. It really is a crapshoot, folks. We've held women under thumb forever, and you're just going to go back to doing that. And like I said, women are going to go find other means to get abortions if they have to, and that's going to be more dangerous than anything else. And why? Just there's no need for it. 50 years this law has been on the books. 50 fucking years, and you want to change it now. The Americans are falling backwards. I think. I'm just hoping they don't take Canada with them, because we have all our freedoms. See, there's another thing too, is the freedom fighters in Canada. They're saying all our freedoms are being taken away, and shit. Look at the States. They're taking shit away from them hand over fist, like this alone. We're in a pretty free society. We had the Rolling Thunder on the weekend, which was a bunch of motorcycle guys showed up to fight for freedom and the ending of mandates, which is pretty stupid actually, because the mandates are pretty much done anyways. So I have no idea what the fuck they were doing, but they're just a whole bunch of leather-clad weirdos, looking for the what was it in the police academy? The Blue Oyster Bar? Yeah, they all fit in at the Blue Oyster Bar. Only the Gen Xers will get that reference probably. But yeah, so we had our freedom rally. Now, they need freedom rallies like that in the U.S. to stop this fucking abortion bullshit from happening. Quit fighting the anti-mask things and everything else. Fucking just go get this one quashed. I don't think a whole bunch of, leather-clad dudes on motorcycles are going to do it. But, you never know. I've also seen where they've talked about how, women can't have the right to, they'll take away their right to an abortion, but they'll continue to take away their rights about the freedom to wear masks and not get injected with whatever's in the vaccines and stuff. And yeah, that's a little different story, but it still is the same. If you look at it and you take away the seriousness of everything, it's the same. Like, how can you say this is good and this is bad? Or you say, like I said earlier with the guns, you can have an automatic weapon, but you can't have an abortion. The automatic weapon kills multiple people. The abortion kills one thing. And it's not even a person yet. So Oh, the world is fucked. Is it ever going to get any better? Is it? Like, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm going off here. I've been talking for like 40 minutes. And I'm not drunk, by the way. This is only my second beer. And it's only to here. Just solemn. Just solemn. This stuff makes me sad, man. Like, it really does make me sad how you can take rights away from people. And serious rights. It's not like taking a right away where if you wear your mask, you can't go in a fucking restaurant or you can't go in a fucking grocery store. No. This is an important right. Again, there's a difference between which rights are which, right? So you look at an important right. Abortions, important right. Being forced to wear your masks, not that fucking important. Like, anybody can do it. People also base all their rights on if, like, they treat every right the same. Well, you know what? In 1983, or 82, sorry, when the Charter of Rights came out, they were doing this, and it made it harder for police to do their jobs because, they need a bit of a watchdog sometimes because of the power trips. But quit fucking with people's rights, like the big ones. I don't think gun rights. I believe if you're a hunter, you should have the right to have a gun. They always punish the hunters and legal gun owners when shit happens. But gun use or gun rights compared to abortion rights, fucking apples and oranges, dude. Like, I mean, there's no fucking comparison whatsoever. And people should get that. They should be willing to give up a right like that to fix a right like this or whatever. It boggles my fucking mind when people are fucking with our rights. I mean, like I said, during the pandemic, I followed the rules, did what I was told because I honestly thought it was for the betterment of society. That's my honest opinion, and I still see people wear masks and stuff. And to forego that little right, like to not wear a mask in public or whatever, is one thing, but to fucking force women of rape and incest or accidental rubber breakage, for fuck's sake, like to force them to have a child. Yeah, you hook up with somebody at a bar and you show up, you do the responsible. Yeah, what if you do the responsible thing, okay? You hook up with a person, you have sex, the rubber breaks, you get pregnant, you're fucked. But you started out being responsible. Do you not get any fucking credit whatsoever for the part of being responsible? Like, you started out being responsible, and then the government says, no, well, even though you're responsible, you're fucked. You didn't do everything you could have. You could have double bagged it or whatever. And it's like, we're responsible. Anyway, folks, this is Duane the Boozin Blogger. Sorry I went on and on and on, but these topics are fucking annoying. They do. These are things that really bother me, and I have a hard time actually sometimes sleeping at night because I actually think of this shit. And stand up for women's rights. I don't give a fuck if you stand up for any other rights. Stand up for women's rights. My American cohorts, take care of yourselves. Subscribe to my channel. Remember, you can watch this or you can listen to this on Spotify and Apple and any other place you get a podcast. So subscribe, share, and hit the like button if you like it. If not, don't. It's that simple. Everybody's got a decision to make. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back with a blog on Friday. And remember the most important thing in life. Don't be a fucking asshole!